Yeah, they would still be safe, and then I can move the tank down there to safe place. Meanwhile, I'll probably just leave the tank. It's pretty safe there against any new tanks. It's visible to the enemy, but it's fine. Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, that's silly. They'll still hit me. Yeah, 1 damage. Fine. No complaints there. That's actually pretty good. And well, there's no other targets. But I could move as well, or not. It's too full. Wow. Okay. It's pretty crazy. I'll just keep bombing here. I can move the recon first and push them back. Not an amazing hit, not gonna lie. But I need to clear these enemies at some point. If they don't move, I'm gonna have to move for them. Alright, that's a decent hit though. Still. Yeah, I'll just have to shell them. And they're fully suppressed. So splitting is not really appropriate at this time, but I can push them up north, east. Attack, and then I can attack again with the recon. Or nothing happens. Great. And at least it was a decent hit now, although they did retreat a bit further than I would have liked. Still gonna have to cover my units with some artillery potentially. I think the tank might be fine, but as for the recon, at least they have the anti-tank Panzerjäger, but I couldn't protect all 3 of them anyway, so I might just meanwhile try to bypass this this area. So definitely just go down where they're out of sight, while retaining at least some defense position there too. Yeah, that won't work. Okay, well, I will have to move back the storage then, so I can relocate the Junkers 87. It's a bit unfortunate, but it does seem quite necessary here, I think. Definitely need to stay out of range of those guys still until the infantry is defeated, I think. It's kind of a bottleneck in the sense that there's this very small area through which your units can go here. And they can get counterattack from multiple sides, even from Cambrai itself. You know, they still have an anti-tank gun there, they still have an artillery there, that can still cause trouble. And that would not be good. Let's just try and keep hitting them while staying out of movement for both of those enemy tank units. So now I need to bring in a new tank, attack them again, Lovely. And then, of course, they had their 10% anyway. Ay. Trying again there is useless because I don't have any other units that can potentially kill it. So I have no choice but to just focus once again a little bit on Cambrai and, you know, things like that. My tanks don't really need any protection because the enemy infantry is at such low strength and none of the actual tanks can reach me. That I don't need that Stuk there, I can safely swap. I do have to be careful of enemy fighters and more bombers, those might still come and that would be pretty dangerous. I'll try to pincer attack on Cambrai, but we'll see how effective that might potentially be. Nope. And they didn't even do anything. Okay. Not gonna lie, that's a bit weird, but let's do some reconnaissance again. And now we can start bombing Matilda. I know it's still cloudy weather, but any damage I can do on that thing is probably good. There is a potential for an encircling there, but it kind of depends whether we'll be able to lure them out. Yeah, move through. Get encircled, but that's not a problem. I want to make surrender this Renault. And at least they have decent suppression here, so I think we can make it work. And all these units are going to die anyway, so stack them together. And put in those guys. The last ones will have to be the infantry one, because I want to use the Panzer somewhere else. So we did capture some of that. That's great. Let's attack there with the infantry, destroy the other unit, and then move in with the Panzerjäger. Probably still take a hit. Yep, I did, and boom. So now I can. Well, first I have to go south, basically, to take those two cities, but then afterwards I can shift my focus towards Amiens and any further cities, but pretty good so far. Let's get that overrun. Attack with them and get an overrun with the wrong unit. That's fine. I'm actually already pretty scared of later missions where I cannot get overrun. I've seen plenty of cases of people using overstrength units to get chains of overruns by having that overstrength unit, which I will not have. Like, I will not have overstrength units because I can't get overstrength units in my my playthrough. It means I will have to rely more on things like encirclements and such. Like, I don't think it's absolutely mandatory to get overstrength units. I think it would be really handy to have had that. Not gonna lie, but look, I'm not gonna replay those missions a second time. Replaying those first 3 missions, that was already enough for me. To be honest, I think the replayability for this game is not that great, but then again, my views on this game are very mixed anyway. It's like, again, I think it's okay, but it's not stellar. Like it can definitely see a lot of improvements. Okay. And yeah, I'm not getting the same vibe playing this like I do, for example, playing Unity of Command 2. Like, I'm looking forward every day to getting the new content from Unity of Command 2, and well, this is okay to play. Like, it's, I don't know, it's not as great as some others. But I've already discussed this in my other video. Maybe I was a little bit too angry. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty disappointed when I realized that this game is like when I realized that it doesn't feel like a continuation of Panzer Corps itself. Like, it's pretty different. Many of the mechanics are different, etc. And I just kind of thought that it was a shame, and there was, I don't know, there was some resentment there. I think that it didn't turn out the way that I would have liked, maybe. I'm not ashamed to say that I would have liked that more, probably. And yeah, that definitely played a part, I think, and it still does. But as we get to understand the mechanics of this game a little bit more, I think, you know, some of that resentment does go away, and just have to accept that this is definitely not... it's just, you have to have different expectations, basically. Alright. Unstoppable. Any kill triggers an overrun, so it does no longer matter for this unit whether they get damaged or not. If they kill a unit, and I think that also accounts for a close terrain. So that's quite good, I think. Yeah, because then it doesn't matter where those enemies are anymore. We can just... if I get the kill, they'll just get an overrun, regardless of where that is. And whether I take damage or not. Although, it would be very hard still to just kill infantry anyway, like... Okay, get that, you lose 10 die rolls in a row again. Or this time for real, though. This time I do have actually 50% accuracy, but I failed all of them. That's a pretty low chance. No, I mean... basically, let's see, because it's just half every single time, so it's like 50, 25, 12, 6, 25, 3, 1/8, and then even lower. Yeah, it's like 1/9/16. So, you know, losing 10 coin tosses in a row is almost like, well, not like winning the lottery, but it is a 1 in 1,000 chance almost. Which is not impossible. Definitely not. Can definitely see that happening from time to time. But it still sucks. It's just unusual to see, so yeah. But it happens. Which, in a way, it's actually pretty interesting, because if you get odds like that in, for example, a game like Panzer Corps, like, for example, in this case, I'm missing 10 coin tosses in a row, and let's just say that the estimated chance of that happening, they are like 0.1%, so I would say 1 in 1,000. Then you would feel really unlucky in this game. But if you were to be playing an MMORPG where you're farming a lot, it actually makes sense to see those things from time to time. Like, I've been playing MMORPGs when I was when I was a teenager, basically, and I used to play that a lot, actually. And yeah, getting 0.1% drops is no exception. So if you see it like that, then it's actually not that surprising to see yourself miss 10 of those tasks. And if there's any game aspect where I certainly need to learn to improve, that's in accepting the die rolls, because I can get pretty unlucky sometimes, but it's accepting that the odds might not always be in your favor is definitely something that I need to learn. Basically, it's just I can complain a lot about that, and I don't like it actually myself, like complaining like this. Obviously, nobody really... Well, some people might like to complain, actually. I do think that it brings some relief. Right, we still have the Matilda to deal with. It's at least down to 5 strength, but... Yeah, might be able to make it surrender, actually. I have low percentage chance to deal damage to it, but maybe I can increase those odds. No. Might actually also just have to bomb it, and if I do, that would also not be amazing, but I'm certainly gonna try to prevent that. Alright, come on. Yes. Alright. Next up would be Arras, which I should also be able to surrender, actually, or to encircle. Might not be able to do it immediately, and maybe... Yeah, so... I should probably try to make him surrender next turn. If I can, at least. Depends on the amount of suppression that I can do. Surrounding at Cambrai is going to be a bit more difficult because there are also different units. And I can probably take them out with an engineer after a little bit of shelling anyway. So then actually having them be encircled is a little bit less useful. Yeah, soldiers. I don't want to accept those 1-1 odds, but I really hope that this would have increased a little bit after that first attack, but I guess it didn't. Really sucks, but I think I'm gonna have to leave that alone and not attack it now. Yeah, because those 1-1 odds are just not good enough. It would be fine for the AI to attack me with 1-1 odds, but yeah, the situation is of course difficult for the player, where their units are more precious than the AI's, of course. These units have to slog through multiple battles, whereas the enemy units, well, they're just there for one. It's like all of the enemy's forces are auxiliaries. That's kind of how you have to see it, I think. Like, all of their units are auxiliaries. You know how I handle my auxiliaries. They are expendable to the max. Maybe a little bit too much, but yeah, basically, if you treat the enemy's units like you would treat your own auxiliaries, then even for the AI to toss their units at me at you know, 5-to-1 odds is understandable. Their units don't carry over anyway. Why would they worry? It's just about inflicting maximum damage, because they're just gonna trash my or they're just gonna get trashed otherwise. Like, if I have the initiative in the attack, I'm just gonna smack them. Whereas if they at least attack me, then they might still snoop off a little bit of damage. So it's beneficial for the AI to take those odds. Come on, please at least allow me to kill it. Come on. No, no, no. Seriously? What are the odds? 36 only? Still should have been doing like 1 to 2. It's tough life. Tough life. Come on. It's just... Alright, let's get out of there. Look, I know I chose it, and I chose it again, but it does lead to some silly situations. It's like, we're gonna disobey orders moving into Oras. It's just like, we're not gonna fly 60 kilometers. We don't know what's out there for this stretch of territory, which is less than 5 kilometers and is definitely controlled by our own units. I'm too afraid. Like, no. It does not make any sense at all, actually. They're still too dug in, so attacking is less than stellar. I'll just have to wait a little bit. As long as they remain encircled. Ooh, nice. As long as they remain encircled, I should be able to eventually just clear them out with any other tank or infantry even. We'll see. I'm not in a super big rush, although it is turn 11. Now that that city is cleared though, it's just it kinda sucks. But I think I'll have to wait at least for a turn, bringing up the tanks, the other infantry, and that will allow me to bomb the enemy unit at least once in sunny weather. So hopefully that will give me like 4 damage on the enemy Samua, and then afterwards I might be able to attack it anyway, but not like this. Nothing, huh? Alright. Come on. Let me hit the jackpot. Nice. Okay. Some decent luck for a change. Let's go for a mass attack bonus. At the very least. Or I could try to go for an encirclement, but that's a bit more dangerous as we don't know what's in those woods there. It's unlikely that they will have a lot of units, not gonna lie, but if they have an infantry, they could easily deal like 2 damage to my tank or so. Infantry in this game is crazy powerful, even against tanks, comparatively. I should have encircled them. Silly me. Well, they won't damage my forces very likely, but it's still kind of sucky. Definitely should have handled that differently and should have gone for the surrender there. I mean, it's fine, but I could have definitely handled it better. Let's get out of here, move onwards to the next city as well. This is already taken care of, really. Bomb them, maybe then I will no longer have estimated damage and clear them out. Never mind. I would like the infantry to move further because I don't think there's that much use. There's going to be that much use for the tank. So even though it costs an extra turn, I will just use the tank to capture Cambrai, whereas I'm moving the infantry forward because I know I will need the infantry. I'm hoping the AI will take the bait and attack my tanks right next to the city while I reshuffle my other forces. Yeah, I don't expect too much resistance on the way to the Channel coast at that point. Like, I think most of the enemy is spent. Their counterattacks, whatever there was in the first place, have been beaten. Not amazing, and these odds are also quite terrible, if you ask me. I don't think I can take the Samoa, actually. So I think the recon will take minimal damage. So it's probably fine to keep them out in the open. Same goes for the tank, but then I do want to protect the Panzerjäger and the infantry, which can probably still take a beating from that Samoa a little bit. At the very least, I will try to lower some entrenchments. Better than nothing. Protect my units and check up to the north. So no counterattack seems to be visibly present soon. Let's try to keep these guys in the middle so they can they'll be like my firemen whenever a fight breaks out. Good. Or whenever a fire breaks out, sorry. Sweet. Some free damage right there. Always like free damage. And that makes these guys easy pickings. Same here. Bye. Alright. Now, bomb the Samoa, finish off what's left. Boom. Gone. Now, I get to focus on the city itself. Might take me another turn though. Yeah, let's just go. We don't have that much time. It really hurts though. But yeah, moving the infantry in there, after attacking, they have nowhere to go but to be surrendered. Come on. Went better than expected. Yeah, let's use the recon here. They'll surrender anyway. Or they'll just die. Fair enough, game. Fair enough. I need my artillery to move though. If I want to take that city there, right next to Abfil, that should end it. And that should also cut off all the allied armies, which are currently at Dunkirk, etc. Even just taking Abfil does that. I mean, technically the game doesn't see it that way, but it will. Just bomb them. Very little use, of course, because we need to lower their entrenchments first. Just kind of looking where I get to go. Attacking here is free, so might just as well lower the entrenchments a little bit, because there's probably nothing else that I'm going to attack anyway. Let's at the very least stay out of vision, and if they want to move out of there, attack, that's also fine. Okay. Oh, they have an infantry there. That's a problem though, but maybe I can position my units in such a way that they'll at least get blocked, so they can't do crazy damage to my units. That Panzer 4D will help me out there. Alright, just move forward slightly. I also don't think that they will have a crazy amount of units to upfield, but Yeah, just surge forward. Making sure I'm protected, both from the front and somewhat from the rear. Although, I don't think that protection has to be super tight here. Because we already spotted with the storage that there will be no counterattack. Or at least it's not likely that we would be... Oh, okay. Ooh. Really? Never mind. They might actually attack me. Uh-oh. Yeah. There we go. At least they went for the tank, so it wasn't that bad. Just like down there, it was also not that bad. Oof. Good. Because I also kind of got surprised by that unit there. At least a little bit. The AMC-35 is out of reach of my tactical bomber, so I'm going to have to use a strategic one. Can still finish it off though, it's not really a problem. Just use these guys moving around so I can get my hit and run tank in there first to attack. That will... Yeah, they're so suppressed I can use the other one as well. And then finish them off. Good, can I move? No. Alright. Having a 3 strength recon up front does not look like the most safe method, but there don't seem to be any units anymore that can counterattack very effectively. Alright. Pretty marginal. Let's see if it gets a bit better. Not really. Could wait. That's turn 15. Like I said, I don't have that much more time. Well, I can make them surrender by splitting here and then moving the artillery out there. They have nowhere to go. And this might already be enough. And it was. Great. Nice surrender. Good. Just attack. And I guess again. Yeah, let's move like this, and if I attack them afterwards, they'll move to a more favorable position for me. And I can still attack with the infantry afterwards. Boom, those guys are gone. And we have very little opposition left now. So we should be able to cruise our way through the final stages of this mission, I think. Just start moving everything up. And then end the turn. Yeah, they have only one anti-tank in Boulogne. Anti-aircraft can protect my units against non-tank. Yeah, let's just move them up a bit. Not super useful anymore. I don't think the AI has any aircraft now, but well, yeah, my units do have to move there anyway, and I also need to move some units up. I can already forget about my bonus. With turn 15 out of 20, you're not going to get a whole lot of bonus anymore, prestige-wise anyway. But on this difficulty level, I also don't think that the prestige bonus is worth that much, because the way I gather it is that the bonus in prestige that we get is actually from the turns that are left. So if I'm getting 25 prestige per turn, and because of finishing the mission I would get a 10% bonus, the way I gathered it is that over the turns that I have left, I will gain... you will always gain that prestige of the turns that you didn't use, but in this case I also get a bonus of 10% over the prestige gained for turns I didn't do. So say that at five turns left and the bonus is 10%, then for each of those 5 turns I would actually get 27.5. I don't know whether they would round it up or down, but then that would basically be 5 times 27, so that's 135 or and a half basically. No, it's not 135. 137 and a half, sorry. Yeah. Forgot to add the half one there. But yeah, so I think then you would get 137 and a half instead of 125 that you would normally get. But I'm not sure actually how those calculations work, because there does seem to be also a bonus at the end of the mission, which is fairly small actually. Well, it probably has to do with the 80% penalty, but there is a slight bonus which is also not that huge, so it might be that it's also only those, but I have not really been able to confirm that yet because I haven't counted what the prestige difference is. Pretty much whenever you end missions and things like that. I've pretty much just only focused so far on actually trying to improve my gameplay, with the emphasis on trying. But it's a slow process, and I'm definitely feeling the difference between my level of play on this game and my level of play on regular Panzer Corps, but that's of course because I have a lot more time invested into Panzer Corps than in this game. I do hope that over time I will get as good at this game as with regular Panzer Corps. Shouldn't let them take that airfield. Yeah, I do hope to just master this game somewhat in that way as well. So yeah, that encirclement runs through a weird way there, but this guy is encircled now, so now we can close in on them and just wait. The reason why I can just wait here now is because I can still take the other cities. It will take some time anyway, so I can shell these guys once, then move the artillery up to deal with the other cities, while I also wait in up the field with just a few token forces. So that whenever I need to, I can still strike at them. That's 7, they're not gonna attack. 8 now, they'll go to 10, they'll 4 strength left. So I don't expect too much of them. I don't think that these guys will go out of the cities, because they are, after all, on victory hexes. I still haven't seen any bonus objectives, which they did claim were going to be in this game. Look, they weren't in the beta yet, and like, to be honest, back then I thought maybe it was because of the beta, but I haven't seen them either yet. If they're ever going to make something similar to a grand campaign, which is obviously not, this is similar to the Wehrmacht campaign when Panzer Corps 1 came out. So maybe we'll see those kind of secondary objectives much more in the grand campaign, kind of like, if that ever comes out for this game. I wonder, because there were a lot of DLCs for Panzer Corps 1 as well that yeah, it took actually pretty long before they started going for the grand campaign. I think there was one of the latest, if not, yeah, it was one of the latest DLCs, I think. Only Soviet Corps came after that. And Soviet Corps was, I mean, even, well, I don't want to say even less fun than this game, but I really disliked that one, to be honest. I really did not enjoy it. I pretty much enjoyed every single thing about Panzer Corps 1 except the Soviet Corps. Yeah, that was I personally felt not enjoyable. Alright, well, it will take some time before we can get rid of that last unit at Calais. The anti-tank gun is in the city is much easier to deal with, of course. I think it must also have 0 close defense. That's what I think. Yeah, you can see here that, for example, Dunkirk and such is still under enemy control. So it could not have been that Dunkirk would come before this mission, because in this mission we surround the troops there. And obviously, because I've already played Belgium, I know that Dunkirk comes after, and I've seen the layout of that map, of course, because you can save in between, and I know that there are some forces to be used actually near Calais when you start Dunkirk scenario. So they already assume that we've taken over all of this territory when we start Dunkirk. So this mission definitely comes first, which makes a lot of sense, of course, because first the Germans cut off the retreat path for the Allied forces that were blocked, or for the Allied forces in Belgium, etc. And then they got smashed, basically. Alright, let's go after them. There's a lot of mass attack bonus here. Just looking for the best odds. There we go, they're gone. Let's take Abbeville. And now we can focus on the rest. So Boulogne is done. I can take that. Whoop, there we go. Some nice prestige bonus. I always like bonus. Who doesn't like bonus? Really should have used the artillery first. It's in a way it's funny but in this game, contrary to Panzer Corps, where you wanted to lower their suppression first, you're actually better off using the artillery, because artillery lowers attrition, or lowers the entrenchment by a double amount, which is why you want to, I think, usually use your artillery first instead of the bombers, which is directly different from regular Panzer Corps. Of course, because everything has to be different from regular Panzer Corps. Anyway, that was it. Channel Coast, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, and bye bye.